Hi everyone, welcome to our first practice video on giving impact calculus. What this video will do is give you a scenario that you can use to practice giving impact calculus by giving you an impact that I'm going to argue for. So I'm going to give you some impact calculus for the economy, an econ scenario, that you can then use, and imagine you're arguing for a terrorism scenario, to then give impact calculus back against. So I'm going to give you the impact calculus for why the economy has a bigger impact. Then you can take your time and write out your impact calculus for why terrorism instead is the bigger impact here. And you can keep in mind, so watch the impact calculus how-to video and think about the ways that we talked about measuring and weighing out impacts, so time frame, probability, and magnitude, as well as you can think about Chern's case arguments as well. So first I'm going to go through why I think the economy is a bigger impact scenario, and then after that you can write out your arguments against that for why terrorism instead. So imagine this is a debate round, and you can use this to practice giving impact calculus here. So for the economy, my arguments are first that on magnitude, in terms of magnitude, the economy has a bigger impact because, and let's imagine this is a U.S. economy collapse argument. So we don't need to get into what the affirmative is, but let's just say that my affirmative prevents U.S. economic collapse. And I say that on magnitude, U.S. is key to the whole world economy. I'm going to use flowing here, so this will help you practice flowing as well. The U.S. is key to, K2, is key to the world econ, so leads to total collapse. And that affects, the entire world. And then probability is super high because we already have all these hotspots around the world. For example, China and Taiwan, and it's also exacerbated by now the stuff going on in Hong Kong. You have the whole situation in the Middle East. Russia has territorial ambitions in places like Crimea. You have Iran and Saudi Arabia are always at each other. Around Europe, you have all these sort of local tensions from populist movements. In South America, where things are sort of unstable after elections like in Brazil or El Salvador. And across the globe you have all these hotspots where an economic collapse leads to more instability, which leads to so many more chances for war to break out. Because when the economy is all over the place, all of this turmoil across all of these countries only makes it more likely that some of these countries are going to take the chance to lash out at the people nearby. Lastly, I'm going to make a Chern's case argument. I'm going to say that econ turns terrorism because when the economy goes down, countries can't afford to have the same type of security systems and defense infrastructure that is necessary to keep terrorism at bay. So econ collapse leads to decreased defense infrastructure, which leads to more chances for terrorism to happen. We can't. The FBI can't have these sprawling data infrastructure programs when we don't have the money for it. Other countries that are already on the edge, so like Saudi Arabia, Iran, they're already at each other's throats. They can't afford to have the same type of security systems and things like that. India and Pakistan, who are already both supporting pseudo-terrorist organizations, when their economy goes in, when the economy of the other tanks, the other might see that as a chance to increase the pressure and increase the support for these terror organizations. So now that I've gone through why I think economy is a bigger impact scenario than terrorism, you can now pause the video and write out your impact calculus for how you would respond for instead why terrorism should be weighed heavier than our economy scenario.